Welcome everybody. Today is June 3rd, 2025. This is the Hannah City Village Council meeting. I would ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Tim, you're up, sir.
Welcome. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Shelley. I'm the Communications Coordinator for Peoria County, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the Peoria County Board to present the Village of Hannah City with a Peoria County flag. I did also bring a flagpole and a stand, but it looks like it's a little too tall to stand in here, so I'm gonna leave that over there in the corner for you right now.
Do you need a hand opening it or anything?
Yeah, we actually can. If you want to help out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to just
hijack
your presentation.
Let's do. No, so this is the Peoria County flag.
Cool. Nice. Hold still and I'll take a picture.
Oh, all right. Let's do it.
Actually, let's do it this way.
I was gonna say, you cut my face out, right?
No. I'm going to take this. Move it a second.
Erase furniture.
I'll do what I want. Thank you, gentlemen.
How do you want to look?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it was folded.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Get on that.
It's not the American flag.
That's all right. Yep. I'm a little less concerned.
I'm going to put it on the table over here, sir.
Okay. We do have a proclamation as well, real quick, from the county board. I'll just go ahead and read that. Whereas Peoria County will celebrate its bicentennial anniversary in 2025, and in recognizing this milestone, we honor the many organizations and individuals that have contributed to its successful 200-year history. And whereas Peoria County adopted an official flag in 2022 featuring a color scheme representative of the county itself, blue for our water and natural resources, green for our agricultural roots, gold for the innovation in all industries, and featuring symbolism for our area, such as the Illinois River in the bottom corner or the letter P along the left edge. And whereas the history of Peoria County is inextricably linked with that of the Village of Hannah City, with its roots stretching back centuries to its founding in 1882, and even further to the indigenous peoples who first called this area home. And whereas we acknowledge that every person who has called the Village of Hannah City home has also been part of Peoria County's heritage, whether here now or in the distant past, whether born here or newly arrived, whether passing through or making it their home for generations. Now therefore I, James C. Dillon, Chairperson of the Peoria County Board, on behalf of the Peoria County Board, do hereby recognize the Village of Hannah City with a presentation of an official Peoria County flag as an expression of our gratitude for the history they have shared with us and the future they will continue to create. Proclaim this 3rd day of June 2025.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You tell James he should have come and done that. Jim. So
I will.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. I'll just leave this here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Danny, did you have anything this evening, or are you just watching, sir?
Just watching.
Bo keeping you busy? His son. Baby.
Yes, it's on his YouTube.
Okay. Everybody should have a copy of our May 20th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Yeah, I should have read it.
Make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes as submitted.
Second.
The motion by Pearson, second by Sidak. Any further discussions, corrections, or changes?
Good looking out.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Anything under, oh, almost missed that one. Treasury report.
Nothing really out of the, oh, well, actually, I guess there is. Sorry. There's a bill on here for the installation of the air conditioning at the sewer plant. That's really the only thing out of the ordinary. And then also there is the Illinois Fund statement showing $7,300 in interest for the month of May.
The St. Jude thing, is that just a regular donation?
No, that was a donation for Brad's dad who passed away.
Right.
Any questions, any concerns on finance? Not will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding debts.
Second it.
He got ya. He got ya. A motion by Pearson, second by Chris Johnson. Any further comments or questions? And we'll roll call it. Pearson,
Yes.
Chris Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Purcell, yes. Anything else, Cassandra?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Engineer?
Nothing?
Shauna, brings us down to you, the attorney's report.
We've just been working on Title VI, trying to get a draft to Brian so you guys can all look at it and see if you have any questions or additions. If anybody thinks of anything before we get that draft to Brian, please let Brian know so he can contact me. If you've thought of anything that would go in to Title VI, which is like the infrastructure section, water, easements, things like that.
Any questions for Sean? Thank you very much, Sean. Baylor.
It's the very last thing in your packet. It's color coded green and yellow. I just wanted to highlight the capital expenses that we've got lined up for this year. In green are ones that we've already committed to, and the yellow ones are ones that we are working on. But I just wanted to give some context as to the cash we're going to be using this year and the debt that we're taking on. Not that we shouldn't. It's all good stuff. It's just there's a lot. It's going to be a little bit of change in our philosophy.
Thank you.
Committee reports, Mr. Pearson.
Other than what Brian just reviewed and what we talked about in executive session, I don't have anything.
Planning and zoning.
Just that we had 4 people turn in. This is the time of year where you get people are building stuff. So then they want to do permits, and then they work with Peoria County, and then they go, oh, we don't really want to be in Peoria County. They don't want to be in Hannah City. So I think we got 4 pre-annexation
How
requests.
close are they?
Well, 2 of them are close enough for us to, they're in for us to do. So I think we're going to move 2 forward. 2 of them are way out and really aren't feasible. So we're working on, I've got Shanna working on getting the paperwork and stuff together, trying to get a planning meeting together for June to get the 2 done and move forward. Well, the 2 that we're doing, the ones on Pinkerton, kind of in that same line of houses there. I'm trying to remember what the other one is.
And does it touch village property now?
No, neither of them do. But the rules we have been using is their line of sight to someday fully annexing. And if there isn't, then we kind of tell them thanks, but no thanks. But if we've already got a strategy to move out in a certain direction, then I try to close the gap.
Okay.
You in that area?
And
And we got a few out there, you said?
yeah, Pinkerton is that, especially if you go south on Pinkerton. And we kind of go down to that corner. Now we've got some houses along that 116 we need to hook up as well. but we've got several of the houses on Pinkerton down there that, and it's almost like a little neighborhood if we could eventually get it brought in.
Yeah.
Do we keep track of the ones that we say no for now? Like, in
We
case
do.
a couple of them pop up?
Yeah, we do. Sarah keeps, we have everybody fill out the application. And even if we tell them no, she holds on to them. She actually creates a pre-annexation file for any that come in and so we have them on file. And if you remember back, we implemented, gosh, probably 6 or 8 months ago, where we now charge a fee to cover the cost of the lawyers and everything, and that's a fairly substantial fee, $500. And we thought, we were worried that maybe people wouldn't want to do it, and nobody batted an eye, because once they start dealing with Peoria County, they recognize that.
$500
Yeah,
is cheap.
yeah.
Okay, good. That was going to be my next question, if we actually got that fee in.
Well, we don't ask for the fee until we tell them that we're going to move forward to incur the cost, which is to have the attorneys work on it and then have the board or the planning committee meet. So the 2 that we said no to, we didn't charge anything because we don't really have any cost in those other than just reviewing.
When do they become aware of the cost?
We tell them up front, first thing. Yeah. Sarah walks them through the whole process and everything that would be required to make sure they still want to move forward at the very beginning.
All right, sounds good.
Sanitary sewer. Chris Johnson.
Yeah, couple things. First thing, we'll start with sewer. You'll see in your packet in here there is an invoice we discussed last week. I believe we were having some issues with the blower motor. It is up and running, and we have an invoice here that I will be making a motion today. There were some bearing issues here preventing it from working at its optimal capacity. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the amount of $6,000.48 to Air Blower Services for blower repair.
Is that the right number?
I think that's the new unit.
Yeah, it's 15.
Oh, good grief. So sorry, guys. I'm going to start that over again.
I was just like,
Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Reading's hard. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the amount of $1,560 to Air Blower Services for blower repair. Good catch, by the way. I'm sure they liked $6,000.
a motion by Chris Johnson.
Second.
Second by Sidak. Any further discussion, comments? We'll roll call it. Chris Johnson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Purcell, yes. Pearson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
12 hours of work.
Yeah, those aren't easy to take apart.
Yeah. As far as, sorry, I'm going to switch up. So we do have an update on on solar. So I believe Brian or the village has access now to the data for the solar system to see what we're producing. Our billing cycle is going to be from the 6th to 6th, and this will be that first month that'll reflect the savings we have. So we should have a little bit more information to share this next month. The state money application is about to be submitted, being worked through that right now, and we're gathering data for the federal money. The auditor is assisting us with that. What's his name, Austin? Aaron.
He's done a few of those before, and so he was willing to take the lead on that. I think we've got him every bit of information he needs, with the exception of one thing, which Sarah and I will get him tomorrow. So.
And then the last thing, you guys might have remembered, we talked about this once before. There was a little bit of concern when we were first talking about the solar project, or even up to about 2 or 3 months, the political climate. It does look like now we shouldn't be concerned with funding getting cut. So that is a good update we wanted to share. That is it on sanitary and sewer. And I do have one more on water.
Go ahead, Warren.
So you guys know we do have that new hydrant installed, and the last thing is we are still waiting on the tower loan. That's it. End of report, I believe.
Yeah, the hydrant installation was an adventure because once they got down in there, the ground underneath it it's been leaking a little bit. So anyway, it was soft, and so once they got down in there and dug it out, the pressure of the hydrant pushed down on the pipe and cracked it. and it started spraying everywhere.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, they had their work on their hands to get it cut off, but they got it all done. But it was a bigger project than what they thought.
You guys were here till 8:30 that night.
Oh, geez.
Yikes.
What did you say about the tower?
Oh, I was just saying that we're still
Waiting here on the line.
waiting to hear on the loan.
In the report,
Yes, sir. Sorry, I thought I saw that.
nothing under buildings and ground.
Not now.
Alley updates, they're gonna start
Yeah.
doing those on,
The streets are actually done. They did the seal coating on the streets today. They did Llewellyn, Jodan, Alanya.
Phil Gould. And
I'm sorry, Phil Gold, not Jodan. Phil Gold, Joe Lynn,
Joe Lynn.
Bologna.
Melania.
What's the other one right over by
Llewellyn. Llewellyn. Llewellyn.
Is it?
Yeah.
The two over there? Okay, yep. And then again, this is year 5, so all the roads have been resurfaced over the last 5 years. And then they're gonna start, the pulverizing machine will be here Thursday to start doing the alleys.
Cool. Very cool.
The other thing is the sidewalk was approved by IDOT. Excuse me. The project's going out for bid, and we have the public bid opening on Thursday, June 19th, right here in this room at 10 a.m.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and once we know what the final bids are, we'll put together a package to come in and have you guys approve the final financials of what is it we're going to do. I think we had targeted somewhere between 150,000 and 175,000 with contingency. So
Remind me, with the roads being done, the plan is they won't need to be touched again for.
well, it depends on who you ask. Caleb, I think, thinks we can go a little bit longer. Rod, who's the street guy, says that he doesn't want to go too long. The original plan was to start now back on Murphy.
Right.
Just
kind of start over.
Yeah, sorry. Daughter's calling me. But nobody thinks Murphy's ready for it again. So my guess is we'll probably have a 1 or 2 year gap in there, and then we'll probably have some debate over what we do with the money. Do we save it? Or I know Caleb would like to see us, once that sidewalk's done, begin working our way back,
Some other
with
sidewalks.
other sidewalk money, or do repairs around town.
Yeah, I think.
There's quite a few. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up,
Yeah,
especially back in this area.
yeah.
Well, I think our first one was the main roads, right? That was our main.
Well,
design.
I know Caleb's, and again, not that Caleb's the end all be all, but he'd really like to see us get one 6 or 7 foot sidewalk all the way from Casey's to Murphy Road, so that at least one side is completely.
Okay, well, one section is 150,000.
Yeah, it is. Now there's
So
some
that's-
things there with the corners and stuff that make it, and it's new.
Yeah.
So they tell me replacement is not.
Well, you have to do ADA compliant
Yeah.
if you replace.
I mean, you're right. It's going to be expensive. I just don't think it's going to be as expensive as the project that we just done. They're telling me new is more expensive than replacement.
Yeah, I mean, right here, there's a whole thing we have to.
I'm like, you're not talking about tearing out everything,
no,
just tearing out sections.
Yeah, I think they're talking about moving back on certain sections.
Okay.
There might be some that are fine, and they're not talking about expanding. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, all that work's got to be done to determine what it is that we're going to do. But you're right; they're expensive. Sidewalks are expensive.
It'll be another $1 million.
But what our goal really ought to be to tackle it like we've done everything else. Create it into a multi-generational project where it may take us 10 years or 20 years or whatever to do it all, but you chunk it up and do the best you can.
It'll be interesting to see get a quote from the engineers, what they anticipate it would be.
Yeah.
well, we're not gonna do the
Are
whole thing
they-
at one time.
Is the vision to start, and you said one, that was Caleb's vision, right? Like, is that what the board's talked about, one side of 116?
That's Caleb's thought.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I've had a lot of people in the community talk about Lakeshore, because they don't have anything there. Has
Yeah,
there ever been
that's
discussion
another-
about that?
Yeah, there has.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's been discussion about curb and gutter,
Where you
and that's
come
even
in
more
and take
expensive.
people's property.
Yeah.
And then they're responsible for
That's the whole
Taking
thing
care of
that's
it.
going on in Germantown right now. They're putting in a sidewalk and people are throwing a fit.
Because they
So-
they're part of their yard.
Strategically, unless the board feels differently, but for some time, what I think believe the board direction they gave us as a staff is get the basic infrastructure done. Get the sewers lined, get the streets done, get the water tower in, fix the leaks, get the lagoon self-sufficient, all of those types of things. Yeah, and all that work is being done. It's all underground, so it's not like real visible or whatever. But then if you don't have to touch those things for another 25 years, right, sewer lining or whatever, rather than putting $5,000 a month away for sewer, you can put $1,500 a month. And then that new capital, you can start moving to things that are more wants than needs, like sidewalks and lighting and those types of things. But, we're probably 3 years minimum away from having that basic infrastructure box checked, I would guess. The good news is a lot of people that they don't even have the funding to be able to get the basic infrastructure.
That's
right?
what I mean. We're only 3 years away.
Yeah, including maybe putting in a new water tower and not having to increase your rates, maybe to do that.
So on to CDC, Mr. Sidak.
Right, we had a lot of fun developments from the last meeting. So to give you the general context of where the programs are at this year is that there were a lot more residential applicants than there were commercial applicants.
correct.
It's these sheets up here.
Yeah, the one with the red is the residential packet.
And as you can see, the CEDC has recommended every project but one. They felt that because the project, because this location was not visible from the road, that it was not in line with the goals of the residential project. However, the big to-do with, and maybe, do we have to vote on these in order, Ryan?
No, you don't have to vote on them in order. And again, just to back up, the way our process works is all we're voting on is to move the project forward. Then we'll have a meeting with the people. They'll have to turn in all their stuff. They'll have to do the project. They'll have to document it. Only when all that's done and suitable will we come back and ask for the funding, 75% to do the project. So all we're voting on now is saying, do we agree with the CEDC recommendations on what which projects should move forward, or do we want to do something different?
I have a good question. This Sheila property it's a pretty big, is that a business?
No, that's
No,
residential.
it's all residential.
Which one are you talking about, 25?
27.
R3? Yeah.
The rejected one.
Yeah. They felt like it met the criteria for the program, but not the intent or desire, which is to beautify the town, because it's so far back off the road and you can't even really see it.
the old barn house?
If you look, there should
No, this is that direction.
I don't think
Plus
where
that
it
takes
is.
us
The one
over
at
budget.
Well, that's another thing. I don't want to. I've got an ordinance in here that we can move $10,000 from commercial to residential because commercial is way under. But the only reason to vote on that is if you want to move forward. We'll have to move some over to even on the ones that are recommended from the CEDC.
Yeah. So all the ordinance does is it moves money from, just reallocates it for residential because as you can see we're way under on commercial and pretty over. We kind of did some number crunching on the spot to get as close as we could.
Tony, I think that house is the one.
The CEDC also, they will probably have a conversation in the future about lowering the amount that they give to each recipient in order so that they can award more grants or recommend that we award more grants. So that might be some advising that comes in the future. And I also, there's a special note from the CEDC, specifically from the representative from the school district, that Project 25R7, they wanted to help develop that further with a potential, or they at least advised that we seek a potential developer agreement, but I raised concerns about whether or not the board, I myself have reservations about entering into a development agreement with a private individual like that.
Their thinking is that this is a house that's just down on, I think it might be on your road, Tony. Is it on 3rd Street?
It's on Third
It's on
Street.
third.
It's kind of, the kids call it the haunted house. It's kind of been abandoned, nobody living in it, and they're in the process of putting new windows and stuff, and what she's asking for is support on the siding. And she had 2 quotes. One was really expensive, like $29,000, and then one was like $7,000. So we were like, why are they so different? Well, it turns out she had bought some of the materials, found a way to buy the materials from somebody else or something like that. I don't know if it's used or what. So it turns out she just wants she turned in the grant for $7,100 rather than the $29,000 just to do the labor to have the material put on. But the point of CEDC, I think the point Zach was making, and the CEDC was making, is that project, in their view, is exactly the type of project that we should be looking at because it's a blighted property. Nobody's living there, and that money's going to make it better, make it livable again.
So you're talking about, in addition to a grant,
Yes,
the village entering in some sort of agreement with them like we would a business.
yes, like the 10 grand given to the Sportsman's Club or the TAP. That was just their recommendation. I would also like to point out that the CDC wanted to point out to you guys that 25R6, in their opinion, is the most imperative of these, given that it's the tree outside the firehouse.
The tree.
The tree. Yeah. As I said, if any of them are, approved, it should be that one.
I think Zach said everything exactly right. Part of it was if she was going to spend $29,000 with Peoria siding window, their thought was, man, since the project's so good, let's see if we can't find a way to get her money beyond. And I did check with Gwen at the Economic Development Group, and they said we can have an individual agreement with an individual. That's a decision the board would need to make.
Have we done something like that before?
Not with a person, only with businesses had a developmental agreement. And the reason why is I think if somebody was going to do an apartment complex or come in and do a subdivision or something like that, you'd have a redevelopment agreement in those circumstances. But I'm with Zach, just for a private home. I think that's worth debate.
Yeah.
So they recommended what? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
And I do have a comment on the 25R3. I mean, are we not considering that at all?
They didn't seem, the CDC
They didn't
didn't seem to
recommend it.
think it was worth it.
I mean, if we're transferring money over, is my thought. We're only using half of it. Why wouldn't we include that? Because if it's the property, I think it is. It makes our town look like crap coming into town. If it's the one I think it is.
Well, they're saying this isn't visible from the road, though.
No, we checked out the parcel and everything, and it was apparently back from the road in some ways.
But I'm thinking they're trying to replace the roof in the front.
No, we actually looked up the PIN numbers and we had the same
so
discussion.
it's the one in the back.
We had the same discussion.
Okay, because
Yep.
the one in the front really
We agreed.
needs to be torn down.
We
or
agreed.
something.
Yeah, we had the exact same discussion.
Okay,
And we actually looked up the PIN numbers on GIS. And
because I thought the one in the back had a metal roof, which you wouldn't have to replace, but apparently not.
as far as process, the CEDC doesn't have the authority to.
They tear it down.
No, they don't have the authority to say yay or nay on a project. They only have the authority to recommend the ones, but they represent all the taxing bodies. And up to this point, we've never denied a recommendation. Doesn't mean we can't or you can. But they had a lot of debate about that one, and they just felt like while it met the criteria, it was in the area and all that stuff, it didn't meet the heart or the purpose or the intent of what the money was for.
It's the one all the way back, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, you can't see that at all.
So you can look at each of the projects. I think it's roof, replace driveway. There's a deck, removing the tree by the firehouse, siding on the home on Third and some exterior doors. And I think if you add all of those up, it comes to 30. If you take out 25R3, it comes to 29,923.40.
Which is currently over budget without the ordinance.
Correct. So if you say yes, we want to do 1 through 9 and leave 3 out. But I went ahead and had the ordinance for bringing 10,000 over because just in case you guys said nope, we want to do R3 as well. 10,000 would cover it all because we'd go from 25 to 34. But just because we bring 10,000 over for commercial doesn't mean we have to spend it. So CEDC's recommendations are to move forward all those that are in yellow and bring money over from commercial and spend $29,923.40 on the residential programs.
Bringing over 10,000 just because it's a round number, or because is there still? Can somebody still apply and get?
No, we did it differently this year. Now, it doesn't mean we couldn't reopen it, but the last couple of years when we've done it, when we didn't have a hard deadline, is we would go through all the ones that we got, and then we'd say, yeah, let's do this one, that one, then this one. And then 2 months later, we'd get another project, but we'd already allocated all the funds, and we're like, oh, that's a really good project. So we had to push that to next year. So this year we gave a hard deadline of the end of April and hoping we'd get everybody in, which I think we did.
Yeah.
And we could review them all at once and go from there.
I guess my question is, why not just bring over the exact?
The only reason I made it, I didn't know the exact amount. I just put 10,000 because I knew 10,000. If you guys wanted to do 25R3, we'd be 34,923.40. So 10,000 would put us at 35,000, just above that number.
Gotcha.
That's how I got to the 10,000 number.
And we know. Oh, I'll make it. Never mind. We'll talk.
I agree with their recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody want to include the roof that you can't see?
No, I agree with their recommendations.
Okay.
And on one of these, the applicant is not the owner. It's been approved by the owner.
Correct. That's part of the process that the owner has to give thumbs up. So you don't have the full packet here. All we did, because of the amount of paper, is we just narrowed it down to the application and the quote that they either wanted to go with or it was the lowest quote. But they have 2 quotes for everything. There's pictures, but we didn't bring all that stuff.
Lots of discussion about pictures.
Yeah, they want more pictures, so we're going to make that an emphasis next year.
Sounds good.
So you made a motion?
What does that even sound like? I make a motion to concur with the CEDC's recommendations
And approve the
and approve.
CEDC residential grant recommendation.
And give the grant number.
All right, I make a motion that we concur with the CEDC's residential. Should we do residential and commercial? Residential grant applications and move forward with projects 25R1, 25R2, 25R4, 25R5, 25R6, 25R7, and 25R9. Well, we're not allocating the money
8
yet.
was somebody who applied that was in the TIF district, not in the BDD, so they weren't eligible. Good question.
We'll talk about that later. Forgot one other thing.
Second.
I have a motion by Sidak, second by Pearson. Any further discussion? And we're not spending any money right now, so
We are not.
we're gonna. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
There was one thing I left out about the meeting. You read all about it in minutes. Is that we're anticipating enough money in the near future to be able to start opening up TIF funded for development programs. Do we have like a time frame?
I'm hoping that we'll do it in the fall. The CEDC will say they want to do it. We'll communicate it through the winter, and then the applications will be available in January, and it'll
would be just the same processes that we've got with the BDD.
Everybody would just be as happy as clams.
Yeah, well, some will be happier, I think.
So then the business ones,
Should we do the ordinance though first to move the 10,000 over?
I didn't think we were moving it.
You have to move.
we have to move some of it.
You don't have, the 10 grand was if you approved everything, but still we're at 29,000, so we're over.
25. Okay, I gotcha.
But do we need to just say 10 doesn't make a difference? Like,
I don't think it makes a difference. We don't have to spend it. We move it over. We're just saying that there would be 10,000 more available.
and deadlines are passed on the business. So.
Correct.
Unless you guys decide to open them up, yeah, deadlines are passed.
Yes. Would it?
I will make a motion that we adopt an ordinance approving and adopting the second amendment to the BDD Commercial Renovation Grant Program and the BDD Residential Redevelopment Grant Program for the Hannah City Business Development District.
Second.
Would it make sense to? Do you think we would get more business applicants if we extended the deadline?
Historically,
I
and
know
correct me
there's
if I'm
only one.
wrong, our numbers have been dwindling in applicants from these businesses. We just keep getting these.
Which hopefully is a sign that everything's done.
I have a note on my computer though for that there is one that wanted to come in after Angie Mullins.
Who is she?
She owns Hannah's Parlor.
Hannah's Parlor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
she's the one.
she called and said, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I spoke to her.
Yeah."
Yeah, she didn't have her paperwork together and stuff, and so I told her that deadline had passed.
So she told me.
But we could still do and I did tell her we could do a redevelopment agreement. So if
Well,
we
she
have
also
somebody,
said if it ever opens back up, let me know.
right, so if somebody wants to do something, we can always do a redevelopment agreement. It doesn't have to be a grant.
And that's for Hannah's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
Well, we'd still have money.
There's still so much.
But
money
it's all in the
left over,
same
even if we
bucket,
move
but
10 grand over.
You know what I mean? We wouldn't. Yeah,
Well,
but I followed up with several others that had turned some things in or asked between, and they were, no, we're good for now.
Okay. Before we go on, I have a motion by Sidak. I have a second by Johnson. Any further comments or discussion?
What's the ordinance number?
It is 25-0601. Now we can go on with communication. I had to get that out of the way.
You gotta vote,
Yeah.
don't you?
Not yes, it's discussion.
Oh.
Let's look at it, put it this way. We've got 3 and we communicated a lot. And one of the 3, this will be their 3rd year of receiving one if we grant it.
Gotcha. No, but for
Hannah's?
yeah.
Yeah, she knows that the grant program is not available, but if she wanted to do a redevelopment agreement, that she could apply for that.
Well,
Is she talking about the parking lot?
Man, that needs I would thumbs that up
There's
so
no
quickly.
room for a parking lot. What are you talking
Well, I'm talking, there's potholes.
Do you know what
and
it
rebar
is?
sticking out of it.
Is it the parking lot?
I don't know.
That's what she told me.
I mean,
We still have money left. I mean, even if you move 10 grand over, you're at 30, what?
still have 38,337.
I guess let me ask you this way: is it easier for
It'll
us
be
to
at
do it?
36,000 of the 75. So 36, 46, 56, 60. Yeah, I still got 40 grand.
Yeah, I mean the parking lot's going to take that much, but
Yeah.
at least on our side. But is it easier for us and or them to do it through the grant project than it is through a development deal?
What costs us more?
We can give more money on a redevelopment agreement, and the grants are pretty restricted.
Yeah,
But I don't think as far as ease,
doesn't matter.
I mean, we would have to go back and we'd probably have to have another amendment to say that we were going to take another applicant after the date, right?
So we're going to be paying the lawyers either way.
Yeah,
I almost saying, Shauna.
I almost feel like a redevelopment agreement, even if you just wanted to limit it to 15,000 is the most we would do, which is the max on the grant anyway. That's probably the easiest. It's not a lot easier, but it'd be easier to do that.
Okay.
But the money's all in the same bucket, and you'd still, even if you did that extra 15,000, you'd still be, and move the 10, you'd still be under your 75 grand that was allocated.
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? And we'll roll call it to Sidak.
Yes.
Purcell, yes. Pearson,
Yes.
Chris Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Please let Mrs. Mullins know that we are very interested in talking.
You still have her contact at that?
Do something on my computer.
Mullins.
Angie Mullins.
Angie.
The owners.
She's the owner.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant the people that were running it.
No.
Cyphers.
I've known the Mullins since I was.
Yeah, he passed away in March.
Oh, I didn't know. I knew he's having trouble.
Their cousin or nephew or something, Brian Mullins, is on the board in Bellevue.
Oh, okay.
So you guys will sign. Denise, you'll scan
Yes.
and
I
give,
got it this time.
okay, hard copy to her.
Steve was the mascot at Farmington School.
And this needs to go,
Say what?
this only needs to go to Sean.
No, this needs to go to Gwen.
Gwen.
Shauna didn't do
Okay.
this one. Shauna, you want copies of this or does it matter?
You're muted.
You're muted, Shauna.
Sorry about that. Yes, we'd like to have a copy just for the file.
Yeah, I usually send it.
Thank you.
All right, Zach. Commercial.
I will make a motion that we concur with the CEDC's recommendations and move forward with projects 25C1, 25C2, and 25C3.
And here again, CEDC really loved 25C1. That's the yellow building that's right there on 116.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to reskin and put a new roof on that and put 3 or 4 bays for storage. That you put in like a storage unit type place. But that property right along 116 is going to get a facelift, which is
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's. And what are the other ones?
they're
Well,
ones.
hold on. We got a vote. We got a recommendation. So,
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
so motion by Sidak, second by Chris Johnson. Any further discussion?
Yeah, one's putting rock in the parking lot back in kind of that industrial park behind where Ergonomic Partners is. And the other one is a series of projects at the Sportsman's Club. I kind of felt like,
Oh, so the first one is the yellow building.
yeah. And I kind of
Right
felt
next
like,
to the fire department? Right by the fire department?
which one?
The yellow building.
No, it's one Billy used to own. So it's Coffee Can Road, House, Yellow Building.
One with the
It's sitting back, right? A little bit off.
It's got a little parking lot in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Is it gravel?
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. Okay. The old car dealership.
Yeah, that sounds right. I thought
I
that
don't know.
where Sister B's was the.
That was too.
Okay.
So, any further discussion?
Only that I think they said CEDC or somebody on the CEDC made a comment to them that we should let the Sportsman's Club know that
Yeah, I know.
all things considered, not that it's bad, but it might need to sit out a while.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
End of report.
About time. Had to make up for Brian. So
There are days when nothing
I will
happens.
say this: what a great committee. They were very thoughtful. They took their time.
Sarah said they were very thorough.
They took it very seriously.
They pick everything apart.
Good.
They're
that's what we need him for.
Hawkeye and the bids.
Well, they probably do. Some of them probably do the farming.
They do. One of them sits on the
Yeah.
farm.
Well, because they're the same tax. A lot of them are the same taxing bodies.
Right.
Yes, thank them for us.
I certainly will when I see them in a year.
Actually, this year we'll have a fall meeting because we got more programs to look at for the spring. So. Yeah, but the time between the last meeting and this week was 1 year to the day. And Danny's on that. Danny sat in on
Oh, yeah.
that. So thank you, Danny.
So, under administration reports, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 calls for the period of May 26th through June 1st. Those involved in burglary, suspicious person,
Said I was sorry.
yeah, business check, motor vehicle stop.
Not pretty suspicious.
Let me see.
Wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley.
I think I was the one who called for this suspicious person.
Really?
Yeah.
It was
I
the
think
guy
you
over
were.
on Lakeshore.
The
You were the suspicious
Louisiana
person.
or Kentucky.
Yeah, I was out there when he was running through the yards. Jumped into the lake.
He jumped into the lake.
Yeah, the one over on Lakeshore. I was out there fishing.
Did the geese chase him? Because they chased everybody else.
I was,
That's it for
they didn't
me.
get there in time. They got him the next day.
So,
Yeah, I heard that.
under other business,
I do actually like. I would like to make a point about. And I don't. Maybe this is the place to do this or not for the incident report. But so that guy. I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but from what I'm understanding, was lured here by a resident who pretended to be a 15-year-old boy. This guy came into our community from he's got an Oklahoma ID and then came from Louisiana or something like that. And when he came to the house, realized he was being confronted by an adult male and then fled. So I understand the intent there, but first of all, is that legal? And second of all, I don't like that because obviously the trap, we'll call it, didn't work. Like the guy ran through the neighborhood and came across my kid and ended up escaping the police for a day and was caught the next day hiding in the woods. I don't like that at all. Again, I understand the intent and I can even agree with the sentiment there, but I'm assuming the police knew who it was and have already spoken to the
I'm
resident.
sure they have.
I don't know, is there,
Do we get resolution for the homeowners and the parents? I don't know. I'd like more detail too. When I saw that they posted that, I saw that they posted to Facebook. Then I saw the press release as well, and I didn't realize it was you at the time. But the first thing I thought of, I was confused by the wording. Was this a sting? Were they involved in the trap, or was this more of just
I just assumed their child had been on
I
the
don't
other
think that
end.
they were involved.
because it could have ended very differently. He shows up, he sees something as not right, but then he sees the neighbor kid 3 houses down is in the front yard.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
And there's a lot of kids in that neighborhood, and just
You should let the
Worried.
authorities handle it.
Yeah.
Don't try to handle things.
Yeah, I mean, when they had that come across, they should have reported to Peoria County Sheriff's Department, to their task force. Without a doubt. I mean, the homeowner's going to do what the homeowner's going to do. We can't say what they can and can't do in that aspect. But the proper way to handle that is, if that happens, is get a hold of Peoria County Sheriff's Department, and if residents aren't comfortable doing that, they can contact us here, and we'll contact them on their behalf and have them come here. That's not a problem.
so I guess just for a public record discussion,
Well, one thing we could do is we could invite the sheriff's department here to talk about it. If you want to go to that level.
Or we could.
To who? I mean, to us, we're good.
No,
How about if they post something on our Facebook?
they could explain to us maybe what they think we should or shouldn't do, or I could reach out to them and ask them that question.
I'd like to get a copy of the report under the open meeting or
FOIA.
under FOIA.
I made a note.
thank you.
Next item is executive session.
We're gonna do. Never mind.
Oh.
Pants.
We'll just do this. I see what you're saying. Under other business, we'll skip down to C real quick. Community night is June 11th, 6 p.m. Sportsman's Club.
It's a week from tomorrow.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
And our next board meeting is
Somebody text me.
and our next meeting is June 17th. So, and then we'll go ahead and no correspondence. So we'll jump back up to item 10A. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So move. Second.
Motion by Pearson, second by. Man, you guys are sounding alike. I gotta separate you two. Sidak. The time is 6:49 p.m. on June 3rd, 2025, and we're going into executive session.
Shauna, you'll have to call back in.
And you
Danny,
made
you'll
the
have to
second?
drop.
Pearson made the second? Okay.
Thanks, Danny.
Oh, you did the,
Oh, I did the first one.
okay.
Okay, I'm going to end.
Danny's